Hi, I'm Monika Stout with Yummy Arts, and today I'm going to show you how to make a gravity-defying English Christmas pudding. So the first thing we need to do is build our cake board with our structure. So what I've got here is I've got 2 cake drums that I've glued together, hot glued together, as well as adding some feet. Now this is just a copper wire. It's very strong. You can see I can't bend it with my hands. We're going to need that structure and that strength to hold up our little pitcher that we're going to have pouring our milk, or actually brandy cream, over our cake. So what I've done is I've taken this wire, I've drilled a hole through my 2 boards, I've bent the wire in half and attached it to the back of my board. I've used hot glue, and I put a bead of hot glue down, laid the wire in it, and then I took hot glue and went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like this. A ton of times. I've glued the heck out of this thing because you want it strong. Now, if I were doing something really heavy supported up here, I would actually use a wooden board, and I would probably nail this into the board. But since I'm only doing a small little pitcher and it's going to be mostly Rice Krispie treats, I didn't need that much structure. But you can see this is pretty tough, pretty in there. It's not going anywhere. So this is enough for a smaller project. But like I said, if you're going bigger, wood board, staple, or nail your copper wire in. Now, because this is copper wire, we don't want any part of our edible cake touching this. So there are a number of things you can do. You can spray it with edible shellac, or you can paint it with chocolate. So I'm going to paint this with chocolate. I've got white chocolate, and I'm just going to put a little white chocolate down here. I put some glue there in the hole to support it, so I want to make sure I cover that. So I'm covering all my areas where there's any kind of hot glue or copper. And I'm going to paint my copper wire all the way around because we want to make sure that nothing that touches food has any copper showing. We're basically coating this whole thing with white chocolate all the way up. And what's great about this too is it's going to give our modeling chocolate something to stick to. If you try to put the modeling chocolate directly on this, you might have some issues with it sliding because it's slick. But because we're painting this on, we're giving some areas, some tooth to the wire, and giving something for the fondant to stick to. Now, I'm not worrying about being too neat with this because every little piece of it is going to be covered with either cake down below or modeling chocolate up above, or our little Rice Krispie modeling chocolate pitcher that we're going to have on the top. Now, for now, this is straight. I'm going to end up taking a wire, actually pliers, and bending this. And so my chocolate will crack off and I'll end up having to replace it. But I'm going to be sliding the cake over the top of this, and I don't want cake touching any wire at any point. So even though I'm going to end up having to redo this up at the top, I'm going to do it now so that nothing has any wire showing through. So there. So I've prepped that. I'm all ready to go. You can see there's no copper showing through, and everything's coated. Make sure it goes all the way around. And so we are good to go with that. So we're going to let that dry, and we're going to get our cake and start to carve.